Good afternoon, everybody. Saucy James here. We're going to have a rant, talk about the T470p, but really it's T460p. The rant of this is the whole P suffix ThinkPads. This is a weird video. I have an article on my website, ThinkPads.com. It's the recent post. If you want to see prices of used ThinkPads that you could get on eBay, and if you live in America, I have a price guide on there. I look up specs. Use a Google spreadsheet to look up specs for the most part of the machines. And it's it's not complete. It will never be complete. There's things that I'm missing, but I don't know if you could find all this information on Wikipedia. Maybe I should put everything on there in Wikipedia and stop gatekeeping it. Okay, I'm not too sure, but it's all condensed in one spreadsheet plus the prices. And I have search terms for it for each ThinkPad because when we go to X1 Carbon Gen 5, you're going to get laptops that have that if you put Gen 5 in there, you're going to get Haswell processors, which is from the X1 Carbon Gen 3. So and then plus if you do Gen 5, then you get the X1 Yoga Gen 5. You're going to get just buzzwords and all that stuff. So I do a laser focused search on eBay to find the price of these machines. And the reason why I did this, well, I sell laptops too, but I like to give people advice. I have a trip code on a certain website, image board website, and I used to post there a lot. I don't anymore because I work nights at a warehouse and I'm freaking too tired to do anything. And so I just yeah. I don't post on there. I don't even go on Discord. It's all sadness. So if you want to go ahead and check out the price guide, there's a Google spreadsheet, there's an image, so you can save all that good stuff. It's there. And let's talk about T460p, T470p. Now, I bought the T460p during the pandemic when I was a bum living in my car. And I bought it as an upgrade to my W550s. The W550s was just a random laptop that I bought for $100 that ended up working. And then I didn't want to sell it for like $500, even though I could, or $200 or $400. I forgot what it really was at the price at the time. But suffice to say, I still have the W550s. It's like I don't know. It's not the greatest laptop. My T430S could beat it performance-wise. And the screen is okay, but the pixelated spots of that matte touchscreen is kind of weird. So, yeah. But the T460p, it's just like limited. It's a really weird machine. Why the T460p? It makes no sense. The P50S came with Thunderbolt and USB-C. The T460p came out around the same time, but it didn't get those options. We upgrade to the T470p, and it still doesn't have those options. I do not know why Lenovo did not want to do that. And again, I think at the time there was no laptop 14-inch with that sort of processor that you can get. So, like, what? I don't think there is a Dell or HP equivalent that is Skylake or Kaby Lake first gen or 7th gen Kaby Lake. You know, come on, not the Kaby Lake R ULV one. That's a different story. But I don't think there is any laptop that had that. So it is pretty strange. Now the P suffix I love ThinkPads. Okay, first of all, I have a lot of them, but the P suffix died away back after 2008 when Lenovo decided to call their performance workstations the W series. So you had the W500, W700, I used to have a W700DS. Awesome machine. Good luck getting one cheap. They still cost the same amount or even more than when I bought one in 2000, 2012, 2011. I forgot when I got it. Yeah. So where was I going with that? The P series was gone. Okay, and what the P suffix, what it meant was that you got the best processor and like best LCD for that system, like that screen size and all that good stuff. The A series, A20 had it, A30 had it, and then there wasn't for the after the A series died, there wasn't really like a successor to the A31P for a little bit. Oh, I should also say I have a timeline of ThinkPads, and let me go look this thing up right now. But I have a timeline of ThinkPads of when they were released and when they like were ended to being sold. So let me go ahead and I am an idiot. All right. So yeah, A31P was released in March 2002, and then it got discontinued January 2004. Okay, so like 6 months after the A30P got discontinued, but the R50P was the successor of the A31P. Now you're thinking R series, they're like the cheap ThinkPads. Why is that? Well, the A series was also the cheap ThinkPad, but it was based on its own frame and not based off the T series. So the R50P was all the way up to about January 2005. And what the hell? What am I even talking about? The T42P. Oh wait, no, there was a T41. What the heck? Oh no. So the T40P, okay, it came out in 2003, before R50P. Even though I put this stuff down, I'm still learning how to do it. And yes, I'm looking to the right because I got a new camera, Nikon ZFC, and I can see images of myself. Okay, but T40P came out, but it was only in 14-inch form factor. Same with the T41P, and on the T42P, I believe. Oh my god, whatever. The T42P, yeah, you could get it in 14-inch and 15-inch form factor, and then the same thing with T43, all that good stuff. But you were able to get on those machines when you got the P version, you got the best screen and the best processor you could get on that system available at that time. So when after Lenovo got rid of, there was no T62P, just W500, but there was no like P or W. There's no W400, workstation 14-inch. Fast forward in 2013, 14, whenever, when Broadwell came out, 4th gen Intel processors, they're like, we're going to go with Ultrabooks. I'm like sweating right now. We're going to go with Ultrabooks and we're going to go ULV. You're not going to get upgradable processors. You're going to have it for like this last one time, but we want to go to the new stuff. Burden, it sucked for everything. But Lenovo was like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and give you that. Okay. So they had the T440S, right? And then they had the regular T440, which was like a cheaper version of the T440S. And prior to this, the T430 and the T430S did not share any components the same. Maybe like RAM, hard drives, and maybe you could swap LCDs. But other than that, nothing was similar. This new one, they were like the same. They had like similar body styles and all that good stuff. And they might have did the internal battery switching thing. I'm not too sure. I never had one of these machines. So, and even though I just did my guide where I said I looked up the specs and all this good stuff, I happen to not look at those kind of specifics at the time when I first started doing it, and I haven't done it since, and I just will maybe never do. But the T440p came out, and it was literally just a successor to T430. You were able to get an i5. Oh wow, you could get the regular i5, not the ULV version, or an i7. But did they? I forget if I think they did offer a quad core option, but should have been quad core by default, not no option for quad core. And like the slap on the face was that you were able to get the standard 720p screen that everybody hated this whole generation of ThinkPads after the T400. Like the screens were just horrible. And yes, you were able to upgrade to IPS full HD, but that was at the very end. It was not standard, which what it used to be way back when it first started. Well, not when the A20, but at least on the A30, that's when they brought IPS. You got IPS on all of it. Well, they were all 15-inch screens. Okay, whatever. Maybe Lenovo was right, but still, they shouldn't have. They shouldn't have gave you the HD or the 900p displays that were TN. They were just terrible. And same with the T540p. It was just a T540. I don't even know why they call it the P. It made no sense because it was just a normal machine. So yeah, that was a super big disappointment. Next year, there was no T450p. There was no T560p. And then they bring out on the 6th gen, they bring the T460p. There is no T560p, but there's a P50. And then there's a P50s, okay? And this was after the failed the W550s. They're like, let's call it a P50s because we're just going to change everything. 5th gen is baloney, okay? But on the 6th gen, they had all that stuff. The P series, they put NVMe, I was going to say processors, SSDs. You get 2 plus the hard drive, okay? But on the T460p, it had the SATA E, which is like a stopgap. It was really weird. So it had extra lanes to accept, so it could be NVMe, but X2 or whatever. Or no, it was 3.0, but only at X2 speeds, not X4 like the P50. And it costed extra money. Or you just get the SATA hard drive. Why didn't they just do NVMe in the first place? It makes no sense, but it's probably because they didn't want to shoot themselves in the foot. And on that machine, you could get quad-core i5s, which is whatever. But then still, you had the iGPU option, which was really strange. One good thing was that you were able to get the 1080p. It came with 1080p IPS as standard, I think a touch version, and then 1440p as an upgrade. That is like the one good thing. You at least you get an IPS display if you buy these machines. But on the T470p, they didn't change anything. It was the same thing except you got a newer processor. And okay, so you still had integrated graphics, but the dedicated graphics option, it was still the same dedicated graphics card from the T460p. What? On the P751 and 71, they had at least upgraded versions of their processors. And let me look on the miscellaneous. So, like the freaking sorry, on the T460 and the T470, the dedicated graphics card was an NVIDIA GeForce 940 MX. On the T460, it was the same thing on the T460p and the T470p. So you essentially got, okay, GeForce or Quadro, all right, but it was the same graphics card option as the performance version. It made no sense because at least on the T60 and T61, you got the Quadro, or not the Quadro. What was ATI's? You got the ATI's like workstation version of the video card, and it was like better. Okay, but again, I guess NVIDIA on the T61. It was Quadro, but on this one, it's just GeForce. It makes no sense. All right, it makes no sense to me. That's why I have buyer's remorse. Buyer's remorse. No, I overpaid on the T460p. That's why I have buyer's remorse. But that whole thing was just weird. I literally do not understand it at all. And yeah, so rant over. I beat the hell out of my T460p. I actually spilled water on it twice and it still survived. So that's one good thing. I think I spilled water on my W550s and what else did I spill water on? I spilled water and beer in my Pixelbook and that thing still works. And what else was there? On my T430S, no, I don't think I ever did. But credit to where it's due. T460p, it still lived on. One time I raged on League of Legends because that's what you do. And I smacked my computer and like the screen just like went all goofy. It went all dark and glitched out. So I was like, whoa. So I turned it off and turned it back on and the machine still worked. And I did this like twice. It was a very bad time in my life. I was playing ranked, trying to get good elo. That didn't help, but yeah. That's one bad thing. But say if you were going to buy these machines, okay, here's my advice on buying T460p or T470p. Try to get the T470p. It is more expensive. Low price T460 and T470p, 220 versus 250 at the low starting price. Middle is about 270 or 355. And then on the high price, you got 370 and 520, which is pretty significant. That's like when the big jump happens. Okay. EX Plus, if you don't not care about money, 415 or $615. That's just how it is. Keep in mind the NVMe adapter thing. I think I spent about like, I want to say I got like $30 or $40. I cannot seem to source this part anymore. I forget what that part number is. It's going to be on the screen over here. But that, oh, and do not confuse it with the T460S one. It needs to be the SATA E connector. That little dongle cable is not the business, okay? So, yeah, that's one thing. It's weird. My game League of Legends, the frame rate got better with the NVMe drive versus the SATA 6, SATA 3 6 gig whatever it's called. And I guess maybe it's less strain on the system. It made no sense why my frame rate went up. Oh man, your boy's getting pretty wet. Now on the P50 series, you get like two NVMe drive bays, X4, and you get that additional SATA slot. I think you also get that on the P70, and you get the DVD drive, and same with the P71. But these machines are way more expensive. We're gonna go P50, P51, P70, P71. Okay, starting price is $270, and then $380. 17-inch is $310, and then $400. So right off the bat, it is the 15-inch is a little bit more expensive, but big time on the second generation of these, whatever you want to call them, is way more expensive. The mid price, it goes up quite a bit: 370, 525, 486, and 700. All right. And then on top of that, high price is 450, 640, 660, and 1040. P71 gets way expensive, and I don't know. The 17-inch P series is really expensive. I want one, but looking at the specs of like all the P series, the P50 has way better colors. It has way better screens, all that good stuff. Yes, you should get a monitor, and none of this would matter. But if you're concerned about screens and you want a nice display on your laptop, the 15 or P50, whatever one you go for. The 4K options, they have way better luminance and contrast ratios. Okay, so just saying all that good stuff there. Oh, and then say if you want to get the P43S, the other 14-inch, it's ULV, so that's one bad thing. But at least it comes with dedicated graphics. So the P43 isn't necessarily the successor to the T470p. It's essentially, I think it's essentially a what is that, 480S, but with a quadro. Anyways, it starts at $335, $630 at the mid, and then $720. So it is already, it's almost $100 more at the low price from the two. Then it's like almost, well, it's $200 more. No, it's $300 more at the mid price than the other two. And then next year it's $200 more at the high price, or $400, however you want to. Is that right? Yeah, $400. Okay, $300. I can't do math. Yeah, so it is a way more expensive machine. And that's about it. Last thing to consider, eGPU. If you want to get an eGPU setup and go with a T460p, unfortunately, I don't think there is a real way to use it. There is, because it does not have Thunderbolt on here, you can't just connect to Thunderbolt and just run the eGPU that way. It's not simple. I think you could do it off a DisplayPort, but yeah, you can only get it from the PCIe from the M2 socket from the WLAN. But yeah, so you got to have it like opened up. The chassis is opened up because you know the eGPU. You're gonna have a cable down here, and oh, let me just put my case back together again and go. No, okay, so but if you want, say if you have an eGPU setup, you want get a laptop for cheap. It has a broken frame. Go ahead and get it. And that's my video at the end of the day. I have a Dell Precision 7730S. I did buy an HP ZBook Studio, an HP ZBook 15 G4, not the studio version. I did have a studio in the past, but I kind of lost the luster of it. If you read my article about this machine, I go off this weird tangent about selling the T460p. I broke whatever. I lost money on it. I overspent on the T460p, paid like $400. Next day I see some selling for like, or the next week I see some selling for like $250 or $300. Yeah, because I just wanted to win the bid. Do not win the bid. And also, if you want to get these machines, do not get the i5 versions. They come with integrated graphics as standard. DGPU is optional. And if you get the i7 version, do not get the i7 6700 or i7 7700. Get the 6820 HQ or the 7820 HQ, whatever it is. Get the better CPU. It's going to have the same cache, but just that little boost, that base i7 was a dog, okay? And when I got the ZBook, it was like, okay, this is slightly better, but I'm not getting that fluid framing off of League of Legends. Bought the Dell Precision 7730, and guess what happened? Same thing. So I just need to buy an $8,000 desktop so I could play League on the highest settings and no other games. Okay, and no other games. I downloaded King of Fighters and I played until I glitched out. So I think I'm gonna end the video here. Yeah, because I'm about to be at the end of the run. Gotta go to work. So I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.